So I wanted to talk about something I've noticed while playing Metaphor ReFantazio. It's just it's gotten to the point where I think I look at how a lot of RPGs and action adventure games are today, and I feel like they lack a real sense of adventure, like a true journey where you're actually doing something and actually seeing the world change around you, different landscapes, and like the developer is proud to show these off. Like games used to capture this feeling, but like now it just feels like it's just overshadowed by mid-tier storytelling and just unpolished mechanics or gameplay choices that split fan bases of what was the original veteran fans to for more casual fans. And it's like that's here and there. Like I'm not gonna turn this into like a review for Metaphor, but like one of the things I loved about it was it managed to bring back that road trip aesthetic that is just so long lost and forgotten. It reminded me a lot of like Final Fantasy in some certain elements, and even like Persona 5 Strikers, which I hate that game, and I won't get into it, but both of which really nailed the idea of traveling with a group. Both of those games really just nailed that. And then also like setting up camp and like feeling like you're truly on like a journey and you're going places and seeing different things. But for some reason, modern games just doesn't seem to embrace that vibe anymore. It's just like when you look at older RPGs, there's a strong sense of this journey. Like I said, like what I said before, the simple act of like setting up a camp at night and like cooking meals that actively help you in battle or like during certain parts, and like bonding with characters and like creating these small little immersive segments. It doesn't have to be crazy like Atlas where they put like talk to this person 8 times to figure out their story. Just like small little moments in like Final Fantasy 15 where like yeah, I don't know. There was like certain episodes where you had to get up early, but that was pretty much it. But like now, a lot of games just have the label of action adventure for fashion. It's just for show. They barely lean into the adventure part, and like it doesn't help that Ubisoft has just made most people who play games open world fatigued, and instead of like having exploration that feels meaningful, developers rely on this checklist Ubisoft style of like objectives. It's just instead of like traveling through a world and like feeling the weight of the journey, you're just most of the time you're like fast traveling to from one repetitive mission to the next, collecting map markers or whatever collectible that you want to complete to just say you completed 100%. And just, that's not. I don't know if it's really fun. It just feels like you could do better. It's just oh, and then another problem is that when developers do attempt to capture this sense of adventure, it often is just boggled down to just by like horrible mechanics that take players out of the experience like crazy. A game might have an amazing world to explore, but if the gameplay loop is dull and like, or the combat system feels like a chore to get rid of, or you're just like, oh, now I have to fight again, then what? Like, you kind of just you're just taking like the flame out of what like makes it great. Like I could say like a prime example is Persona 5 Strikers, for example, is just ditching the turn-based combat system for a Dynasty Warrior style battle. Do you know how much better that Persona 5 Strikers would be without that Dynasty like playstyle of just horde fighting? To me, it would be a lot better. And then like Persona 5 Tactica was like, oh, okay, so you already went down like a bad rabbit hole. Now you're falling down it. Okay, so just whatever. It kills immersion, but it doesn't matter. But like the worst part, many of the mechanics that made older RPGs feel adventurous, like cooking and like I think some did have camping, I'm not sure. And then just like small like survival elements of that you're on a journey. In like modern games today, they're either like watered down or ignored, sometimes scrapped on development. Imagine if more games treat these elements of like in depth instead of just tacking them on as like gimmicks. The idea of like preparing for a journey and like setting up camp and feeling like the world shifts and travels like with you. Just like because like many of games they've taken like they did this in full force. Like you got Witcher 3, where you can prepare oils for a monster fight, and then like Monster Hunter is just like that's pretty much the basic game, and just many other games that take on those features and tone it and make it great. It's just like I don't know. But just like I kind of just hate like that. There's like no sense of adventure anymore. It's just like, what are we doing here? Like, come on. Like, yeah, I got nothing else. This video wasn't supposed to be strategic, or that's the wrong word, but like, it wasn't supposed to be. It's a rant. I don't care. You know what? Next video, I'm gonna be doing something better.